Good evening, my name is Cadet Bryce Downey, and this is an unclassified information briefing. The purpose of this brief is to give an in-depth analysis on the composition of the Infantry Rifle Squad in both the United States Army and the Chinese Army, and to analyze the strengths and weaknesses of each nation's composition. I will then analyze where we can pinpoint as the American Army the areas where we can take the greatest advantage of those differences and where we can use this in possible future battlefields to get an advantage over our enemy. So a quick overview, in the last 10 years or so, China has become our most significant near-peer threat. Their army and military in general have come a long way from where they were, largely due to a growing economy and a large investment in the government into their military. Differences in organization are going to be key when it comes to facing them possibly on a future battlefield. How we can take advantage of those differences, improving our strengths and covering up our weaknesses. What are those differences and how can we exploit them will be the two biggest questions that we will be answering over the course of this brief. So to start, we have the American Infantry Rifle Squad. This is a simple breakdown. As you can see, there are 9 personnel. We have squad leader, usually a staff sergeant with an M4. Then we have Alpha Team and Bravo Team. Each of the teams is 4 personnel, led by a team leader, also has an M4, usually an E5 sergeant. You have your Grenadier with the M200, a grenade launcher, usually a specialist. You have the automatic rifleman with the M249 squad automatic weapon, also another specialist. And then you have a rifleman that serves as your PFC with an M4. So, key points: squad leader is the M4. The main leadership of the squad. There are 2 team leaders who basically are reporting directly to that squad leader and taking command of their teams to deploy more effective movements on the battlefield, especially in close combat between squads. Now looking at the Chinese Infantry Rifle Squad, you notice right off the bat there are a few differences. Although both squads have 9 personnel, you notice right away that there are no team leaders in the Chinese Infantry Rifle Squad. Instead they have a squad leader and assistant squad leader, each carrying a QBZ-95 5.8mm assault rifle. That is the Chinese version of the M4. They also have 3 riflemen carrying the same weapon. Instead of an AR, they have a single assistant gunner and AT rocket launcher. They are equipped with PF98 rounds for the 120mm AT rocket launcher. So instead of 2 grenade launchers that the US Rifle Squad has, the Chinese Rifle Squad has a heavy rocket launcher. And you also have the driver and RWS gunner. This is probably the biggest difference. They carry either the 12.7mm heavy machine gun or the 35mm rapid fire grenade launcher or they have a QB-95 5.8mm assault rifle. Again, that is the Chinese version of the SAW M249. So, big differences. The heavy weapons employed by the driver/RWS gunner. The American Infantry Rifle Squad does not have those. We do not have those capabilities with the big machine guns, as we only let it belongs to a weapons squad. And the rocket launcher, AT rocket launcher, instead of the 2 grenade launchers, is another big difference in that composition. So more in-depth comparison, you know each squad has 9 personnel. We have the first key point, 2 team leaders versus 1 assistant squad leader. How is this playing with effect on the battlefield? The 2 team leaders are going to be able to disseminate information more efficiently than the single assistant squad leader. So you will probably have more efficient operations within the US side as opposed to the Chinese side. Heavy weapons on the Chinese side, yes, they may have the bigger guns, but this could hinder the mobility as you got to get those big guns on the move, and it's going to be a lot harder to move those heavy things around with just a few people. 2 SAWs versus 1 SAW. American Infantry Rifle Squad has more squad automatic weapons. 5 rifles each. With the QBZ-95 compared to the M4, there are 5 personnel in each squad that have that automatic rifle, so not too much of a difference there. And then the United States has 2 grenade launchers versus the Chinese heavy rocket launcher. Again, another difference. The Chinese have more firepower in terms of their bigger weapon, but the smaller grenade launchers allows the United States to get the same amount of firepower and more mobility as it's divided amongst more personnel. Not as much heavy lifting. to summarize what we went over the composition of each nation's version of the infantry rifle squad. Key points: Chinese have more firepower, again, the heavy weapon systems. The United States has better mobility and efficiency. That's because the firepower is more spread out over the personnel. We have a squad automatic weapon, light machine gun. We also have a lighter grenade launcher. It allows us to move better. And then the efficiency factor that comes from having 2 team leaders versus 1 squad leader. That allows us to move more efficiently and also to disseminate information quicker to the subordinates from the squad leader. So it's, for example, if the squad were to take a reactive contact, squad leader would get the info from the team leaders would be able to command their specific teams to move however the squad leader dictates them to, whereas with Chinese rifle squad, only the assistant squad leader can disseminate that information, so he's on his own running around out there. Play to our strengths in future battlefields. So what does this mean? Chinese have more firepower, but we have more mobility and we have better efficiency than they do. So what we need to do is be more proactive and do things such as ambushes and being able to utilize the fact that we are quicker on the ground to catch them off guard and do a lot more damage by being proactive and staying ahead of them, engaging the attacks on them, setting up our ambushes rather than being attacked by their heavy weapon systems once they are in place. So this concludes my brief for this evening. Are there any questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night.